Roll Tide, what do you say, everybody? Welcome to Cover Crimson. That's Jake Coker. I'm Mick Gillispie. This is Elephant in the Room, right? Yeah, it is Elephant in the Room. You know what that means? That we have the best open in sports. Let's go. All right, there he is, Mr. Jake Coker, Mick Gillispie, Elephant in the Room, brought to you by Pearl River Resort. We saw the entire crew, including the chief, at the Steve Azar at the Blues golf tournament. And we're back.
Well, you still a little cloudy.
It was fun.
Can't figure out which show you're on. That's how you know it was Azar weekend.
Our producer put the wrong stuff up. I just roll with the punches.
I hear you. Making it right. That's what you do.
Yeah, yes. And I'm not trying to throw our producer under the bus, but
well, the back tires just hit him. yeah. Hey, might as well call him speed bump.
Yeah. Well, we got it right now. Good job, buddy. Good job getting it right now. We're presented by Pearl River over in Philadelphia. Time to go check out Dancing Rabbit Golf Course, the Azaleas, the Oaks. Two amazing golf courses that you'll love. I promise you, it's a multi-million-dollar facility, and you don't need a membership. You want to go to Lakewood down where I live? You better pony up the dollars and have a membership or know somebody that's a member. Pearl River, honestly, is just as good of a golf course, and if not better, and you don't need a membership. So it's right there in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Two amazing golf courses, though. The Azaleas, the Oaks. If you'd like to play, you need to go check it out. All right, let's talk about some stuff. Bama just had a guy commit. We're going to talk about Jet in a second. I mean, that just literally just happened while we're recording the show. Jordan Edmonds, who is a 5-star cornerback out of Sprayberry in Georgia, getting a push from Kirby and basically Alabama's best commitment. I mean, as far as like scoring goes with the services, and Georgia trying to go after him. Bama's done really well in the secondary recruiting wise. This is a guy they don't want to lose, and he seems to be pretty locked into Alabama.
Well, yeah, you never know nowadays. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of the guys, at Alabama, Ole Miss, wherever, and the commitment means a lot less now than it used to. And I mean, juggling recruits, commitments, decommitments, transfer portal, there's always moving parts. And, I mean, you really don't know if you got somebody until they sign and you know you have them for that year post-signing. And I say that, I mean, there's been some guys that I think have signed and have transferred immediately after signing, entered the portal. So, man, you never know. I mean, I think Alabama's doing it the right way. I think really the only way that you get true commitments is by following Kalen DeBoer's playbook, which is creating those long-lasting relationships where guys want to play for you and they believe in believe in your vision and aren't totally sold on having to play that first year, but learning under you and feeling that your coaching style is unique to them and getting them to where they want to be. I was looking into some of this recruiting stuff. I need to follow it more closely. But I look at these situations like Brandon Arrington. I hear he's, we were in his top 3, and I guess he just came out with his top 2, and I think his main goals and in deciding which school to play for was early playing time, NIL, and apparently Alabama wasn't quite there in terms of urgency with him, like Oregon and Texas A&M, which to me tells me that he wasn't a guy that, and I don't want to step out of turn. This is not something I've talked to Kalen about or Kane Womack, but if they weren't as urgent as Oregon and A&M, they kind of knew that early playing time and NIL were going to be his main factors in getting him to the university. So sounds to me like he was a guy that if you're hunting NIL right off the bat, I mean, A&M and Oregon are probably really good schools to go to. I mean, right? Texas, Oregon, Ohio State, those are going to be in your top teams. And then early playing time at Alabama in the secondary right now probably isn't going to happen unless you're super elite, right? I mean, we got so many guys coming back. We got young guys that can play. It's going to be hard to get in there and play right off the bat and make an impact as a freshman. So two things that really weren't working for us. And then you look at this, and Jordan Edmonds coming in. I mean, we got guys coming in that are ready to go, and I think are going to Alabama for the right reasons. And Jordan Edmonds, I'm so glad that he's committed to Alabama, but it's still a long road. Georgia obviously is not taking their name out of the hat. They want him in Georgia this weekend for their official visits or their summer visits. And so, even though these guys have committed, and I've talked to Kane about this before. I mean, he's like, nowadays, even if you get a commitment, you got to recruit them like they are not coming to your school, because you just never know. And so I think the urgency is there for our coaching staff, for guys that we know we want. I think they're doing a great job. I know we only have 6 commits in that 2026 class.
Oh, hold on. We got 7. We just got a guy. So, well, let me say this. Arlington, we kind of knew coming in it was going to be about the money. 5-star out of California. Another one of these guys at Bama, coaches knew from their time out in Washington, Mount Miguel, Spring Valley, California. He's probably going to Texas A&M, or at least that's where he's going to commit to. It was always about the NIL money to him. I don't blame him. I mean, that's just the way that they've got it set up right now. I think that's going to change. Hopefully it'll be based off of merit and not, recruiting in the future. It was never supposed to be like that, but that's how it is right now. And he's going to get paid a lot. Bama's got great guys in the secondary, but I don't think it's the end of the world that he didn't commit to Bama. Now, this is the one I want to tell you about. Jet Tamala is a quarterback that flips from Iowa State to Bama. So, for Tamala, it's like you're stepping into a world with Keelan Russell. But you know what? If you're Bama, you got to have 4 quarterbacks, right? We and Clint and I yesterday were talking about a time when Alabama didn't have any quarterbacks. Everybody kept getting hurt. It was like Brody Croyle got hurt. You were probably really small then. My buddy Spencer Pennington got in there. He got hurt. Brandon Avalos got hurt. It was like they didn't have anybody to play quarterback because the guys kept getting hurt. Now, Bama didn't do a good enough job blocking for those quarterbacks. Brody's was just basically bad luck. But you got to have, I would say, and you played the position, I think you got to have some depth at that spot, and 4 seems to be the spot you want to be in.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, to me, you got to have at least 4, and you got to have 2 that can manage a game. If I'm a head coach, offensive coordinator, and I've got one guy that I truly trust and believe in, I mean, the title run, you got to be pretty nervous about a title run with just one guy that you really trust. I mean, you saw it in Georgia last year. They had a backup who, he wasn't Carson. He didn't have that talent yet, but he was a formidable opponent, formidable competitor. He got in there, played hard. He got them in the right positions, made a lot of good throws, and kept them in the battle for that national championship run. Now, I mean, who knows what happens if he plays the entire season and Carson Beck doesn't get hurt. I think they have probably a better chance, but at least he gave them an opportunity to compete. And so it's going to be hard to find a guy to come in and play right behind Keelan Russell. Now, I don't think Keelan Russell is going to redshirt. I think he's making his way on the field this year somehow in some capacity. I mean, I think Ty is the guy, but I think Keelan Russell is going to find a way to get involved somehow, and I don't see him redshirting. So if you're coming in as a freshman this year, you got to have the idea, or after Keelan Russell, to me, you're looking at a redshirt year, and at least you get, an extra year to compete after Keelan Russell leaves. And same time, you got to hope that Keelan Russell leaves after three to 4 years.
Mm-hmm. If you're stepping into this spot, right, and you know that you're signing with a school that has the number one player they've ever gotten, it's a quarterback. You're saying in that same position. You got.
Which to me, to me, I
doesn't
get
matter.
it. I think Keelan Russell. I'm so glad he came to Alabama. I think he's a great player, but I think it's so weird. This is not a Keelan Russell topic. This is how recruiting works. I mean, I mean, we all know he's a great player, and I think he's going to be a great player at Alabama. Maybe, and I hope, considered the best quarterback ever at Alabama. I love seeing guys come to Alabama and flourish and do well. But it is so crazy to me how the recruiting stuff works, where I believe he was a 4-star before Alabama offered him. As soon as he commits to Alabama, he's a 5-star, and then.
Well, he had that camp. He had that quarterback camp where he was just
yeah,
amazing, and then and all that stuff.
But it's just kind of crazy how just people get locked on to one performance, whether it be good, whether it be bad. You never know, and so nobody's ever as good as they say they are. Everybody says they are, and nobody's ever as bad as they say they are. It's just wild how we lock onto the hype machine.
You want them to go out there and prove it.
I want everybody to go out and prove it. You never know, and I hate setting a lot of these kids up. I think there's a lot of guys who come in with a lot of hype, and their downfall kind of ruins them at 18, 19 years old. I don't want to put any expectation out there. I want to see him just go out there and play, figure it out, and ultimately become one of the best quarterbacks to ever be at Alabama. Have some time to develop, and get comfortable out there, and then ultimately be the guy and take us to a national championship. But that wasn't really a comment about Keelan Russell. It's just the process of this whole recruiting fiasco in general.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jet is from Millard North High School and Omaha, Nebraska. He was formerly committed to Iowa State. He flips to Alabama. Basically, he likes Coach DeBoer and Coach Grubb and Coach Sheridan. And he was a 3-star, mostly 4-star now when you look at the services. He announced that he was going to Iowa State on April 18th. And then was in the Nashville Elite 11, according to Andrew Bone, our buddy, who basically says after that, Tamala started to kind of catch the eye of Bama's coaching staff. But he's 6'5", 200 pounds. He led his team to a Class A state title in November. So that's small football, but 69% passing, 3,665 yards throwing, and 47 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. And he also set some classification records from passing yards, touchdowns, and completions. He was 250 of 359. So he's, right up there with you. You were a little better than that, but I'm sure when you look at those numbers, you're like, not bad, kid.
Yeah. I mean, no, you got to be good in high school to make it, to Alabama or Iowa State or anywhere else. You find out when you get in practice, when you get in the games. I'm sure when Alabama showed interest and he visited Alabama, he was probably like, holy shit, this place. I mean, when you walk into that facility, you got to think, all right, this is the mecca of college football. I mean, I've been to a lot of different schools, a lot of different facilities, and there's very few that can compete with Alabama. I mean, it just is what it is. And I think when you get a lot of these kids from the Midwest up north, I mean, maybe a fan of of a school up there their entire lives. But once you go down to Alabama and you see that facility, and you kind of get the feel for the culture down here, it's hard not to fall in love. And I mean, that's coming from a guy from Alabama. So, I mean, obviously I've had an affinity for Alabama my entire life, but and I love Florida State, but leaving Florida State to come to Alabama, I hadn't taken a visit to Alabama in high school. So my first time in the facility going in there was after I'd, was about to transfer and took my visit up there, and it blew me away.
Yeah. Hey, guys, let me tell you about our friends in Ocean City, Maryland. I want to take Coker here and show him a good time. And I know you guys want something really cool to do this summer as well. We'll take advantage of Residence Inn. They are a great partner of what we do here, and they are a multi-championship level hotel. They're the Coastal Style Hotel of the Year, back to back, right? The Residence Inn by Marriott Ocean City is right there by Secrets, right there by all the great places in OC. It's a great place to take the family. You will not, and I'm telling you, the food there is amazing. You won't regret it. It's a lot of fun. I'm a steamed crab guy. If you haven't, maybe you watched The Wire and you saw those guys eating steamed crabs like some of my buddies, and you can't come to my house for them. You can go to Ocean City and get them. But the great seafood, great views, the boardwalk, all the fun stuff going on there. So as you plan your vacation or even this fall, you're looking to get away, take advantage of Residence Inn, and we appreciate them being part of what we do here. Coker, we got to be excited, though. 7 commitments now for Alabama and another 4 stars. So I don't feel like Bama is sliding as far as the quality, but right now the quantity isn't. I mean, still only 7. I mean, you look at the top, and maybe this will move Bama out of back into the top 10, and I'll check that in a second. But just it seems like it's been harder to get commitments this year.
Well, I mean, I believe we've got the highest average recruiting rate of any other school. I mean, like you said, it's the numbers are slim, but I don't believe we've had our big summer recruiting weekends yet. And I want to say we were kind of in a similar spot. Well, we had to,
we've had the last 3 weeks have been the last 3 weekends have been the recruiting weekends. And I mean, so there's some more coming, but the question is, like, how long is it going to take for those guys to commit? And then we have a quarterback commitment, so that's a good thing. But I mean, it's like, how much money do you think that the players are a little hesitant to commit because of the money? Like, they want to kind of wait and see, or do you think it's more Alabama waiting to see how the market plays out?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, like I said, I think Coach DeBoer and the staff, I mean, I think their approach is getting the right guys for Alabama. I think once you dive into, trying to be the highest bidder, getting into some phony sales tactics, I think, you can get numbers, but commitments don't mean a ton. Don't know if you're really getting the guy that wants to be there for the right reasons. And when I say that, I mean playing for Kalen DeBoer and being there for the University of Alabama, really going there because they want to go there rather than, maybe trying to play early and shop around each year. I mean, I think they're doing a good job of getting to know these guys, and when they get a commitment, they know that guy's truly investing in Alabama and wanting to be there. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a slower approach. I think Alabama's in kind of a unique situation, being, the best program of all time, yet, not having the funding that those other blue blood teams have. I think we're scrambling to find a way to make those ends meet, but at the same time, we got to be real strategic and who we're paying and who we're making offers to, and we can't get stretched too thin. But again, we've committed to these big time guys. I mean, look, seven guys that are very highly touted, highly recruited. There haven't been. I I think that they're getting guys that, when they flip the film on in 2 years, everybody's like, man, that was not a miss. We're not wasting time here. We're divvying up, time, opportunity, commitment to the guys that are going to make waves at Alabama. And again, the summer's still early. If I remember correctly, it's June 17th today. We still got really a month and a half until this summer recruiting season's over. And I think there's still some big Alabama guys out there. You tell this Xavier Crowell, is that Isaiah Crowell's son?
I don't
know
know
his name. You don't remember Isaiah Crowell, do you?
Did he play at Bama?
No, I think he played at Georgia.
Okay, I don't know. This guy's from Jackson. I don't think it is this. I don't think they're related, but they might be. I haven't heard any of that. I've researched the guy. I mean, this is a big get. Alabama needs to get him, and they need to get Tank Jones. They need to get the in-state guys. Hey, look, it's great that you're getting all these California blue chippers, and I'm not saying I don't want them, but I'm saying you still got to get the guys in state.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the again, I remember when I went to Florida State and Coach Saban, Jeremy Pruitt told me how pissed off Coach Saban was that an Alabama guy left the state, was leaving the state, and that ultimately chose Florida State over Alabama. He was not too keen on losing the guys from Alabama. That's priority number one. You got to manage. Hey, you got to manage your own home before you tell other people how to live.
Yeah. Do you think that Jeremy Pruitt told Coach Saban that he told you that they weren't taking quarterbacks? Isn't that one thing that maybe he should have just kept in his back pocket? Like, we're still figuring out what we're doing, because once you say you're not doing something, then it sends the signal that you're not interested. And that's how you lose recruits. Maybe they just didn't think that, they really were going to take a quarterback. But once you committed to Florida State, all of a sudden they had a spot for the old Cokester.
Yeah. He said, we're kind of locked in now. We don't need one. I said, man, you don't even know what asparagus is. How are you going to tell me,
That's so funny. Take that, Pruitt.
Hey, but no, I love Coach Pruitt. It's funny, man. He ended up being the defensive coordinator at Florida State my last year there. I love Coach Pruitt, man. He's a great guy. It's just funny. We talk about that all the time or I say all the time when I see him or anything. And, I've told you stories about my mom. My mom got on to him one time and he was like, my gosh. He's like, that's worse than Coach Saban.
Who's that, Jimbo or Jeremy Pruitt? She got both of them.
Coach Pruitt. It was funny, man. He's like, I don't know what's worse. You're calling your mom or calling Coach Saban.
Well, that's telling. That's telling. That's funny, though. Hey, guys, let me tell you about one of Jake's favorite brands and mine, too, and that's Roback. And you get 20% off when you use a new email address at roback.com. Crimson20 is our promo code. I have that exact hoodie. It's awesome. It's comfortable. It looks great, but they've got amazing polos, whether you want them on the golf course, at the office, or during football season. But take advantage of our promo code. That's Crimson20. And I also want, if you get in that comment section, tell us what you got and what you thought about it. All right, let's change gears here and talk about the playoff format. They're having discussions right now that the commissioners are getting together along with the it's the 10 FBS commissioners and Notre Dame's AD are meeting in Asheville, North Carolina. They're talking about the college football playoff format. So there's a couple different formatting options here that they're talking about. One is 5 plus 11. So it'd be like 5 conference champions and then 11 at-large bids. And then the other one is the SEC and the Big 12 get 4 teams in. And then, I guess it's 2 and 2 with the other 2 conferences and then 1, right? So pretty interesting. It's still at 12 teams. I'm to the point, Jake, where I just think they ought to just make it like a 32 team field. I mean, if you're going to, last year's tournament was so shitty that I'm looking at it and going, you know what? I would have rather seen Ole Miss and South Carolina and Alabama in instead of crappy SMU and Clemson. And I know Clemson played well, but it just would be a better tournament if you just, at this point, why not just have the team? You're going to put Indiana in. They didn't play anybody. You want teams to play tough schedules? Put 32 teams in.
Yeah.
I didn't want to expand the damn thing in the first place, but now I'm looking at it and I'm like, these guys screw it up every time. I don't even have any confidence that they're going to even get anything done in this meeting. But we'll find out. What would you do? You like it at 12?
I'd go ahead and go to 16. The problem is, and it sounds like the Big Ten's pushing for 16, the SEC's pushing for 16. I'm not aware of where the other conferences are, and really not even concerned with what the other conferences are saying. And Notre Dame being a part of it. I know they had a run last year, but Notre Dame hadn't won one since Newt Rockne was around.
Lou Holtz.
Yeah, I don't know. Basically the Big Ten, the SEC should make the decision, and we should move on. Really. Last year was pretty frustrating, and the playoff last year was, honestly, it was pretty boring, like you said. You miss out on the problem with SEC is that it's such a, and I would give Big Ten this nod to a certain degree. It's not the SEC, but the SEC it's like you watched South Carolina last year. A team that we didn't really think much of until week 7, week 8, and then they figured out their identity and started playing good football, and their quarterback really grew within himself and was able to carry that team in a lot of different scenarios. So those teams end up being, they have runs late in the season, but they've got 3 losses or 2 losses already.
Right.
But they're a completely different team by week 12 than they were in week 3. And so, we missed out on, what do you think Ole Miss, Alabama, and South Carolina do in that situation last year? If you got those 3 teams in it, just from an entertainment perspective, you at least have big matchups with lower seeds versus higher seeds. If Ole Miss, Alabama, South Carolina are in there at the 11 or 12 seed, you're looking at games in the first round where, on paper, underdogs are probably going to win. Vegas has them pretty tight. All those teams are beating Clemson, in my opinion. 2 of them did, I think, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, look, Clemson got beat by South Carolina and Georgia. Yeah. And then they get in, and, Bama doesn't get in. I know they didn't win the conference, but they're not, that conference isn't even comparable to the Big Ten or the SEC. The ACC was so bad last year. Now that could change. I don't know. Like, after watching the baseball tournament, I don't even know anymore. Like, I always feel like the SEC is pretty superior, but you get 13 teams in and you get 2 to the World Series, and 9 of them are out the first weekend. It's like, I think a lot of it, you beat up on yourself. Some of it, I don't know, but I'm pretty positive that the ACC stinks. I'm pretty positive about this.
Yeah. The ACC last year, that was just they proved to everybody that and it's like the TCU year when they made the playoff and got absolutely destroyed. Now they did beat Michigan. I mean, don't get me wrong, but Michigan, I think they had 2 pick sixes and gave the game away. Anybody watching that game knows that. I mean, when you turn the ball over like that, the odds of you winning are almost zero. But then they go play Georgia, and it's the worst blowout I think ever in college football history in a national championship game. And there will be a correction this year. I mean, they'll put the SEC teams in just like we've seen in the past. They overcorrect each year instead of just staying in their lane and doing the right thing. It is what it is. But yeah, no, the ACC, I kind of like that 4-4-2-2-1 format, or where you got 4 SEC automatic qualifiers, 4 Big Ten automatic qualifiers, and really whatever you do with the next seats, I could care less.
You don't think Boise State should get a bye in the first round? I mean, come on, man.
The only
didn't they beat Idaho?
The only real shocker last year to me was that Arizona State Texas game. I mean, I thought
it was awesome.
Of course,
Scattaboo. You were a Scattaboo guy. I think we all became Scattaboo guys.
Scattaboo, hey man, that's what you watch college football for. That heart. I mean, his heart in that game was. Talk about putting the team on your back. I mean, that guy, he was all heart, man. That was great. That's what college football is all about.
He was, and ironically, he was our Jake Coker Award winner for the 2024 season. Everybody thinks about you running over that dude at Texas A&M. Scattaboo had his moment against Texas. I mean, he had one of the single best games I've ever seen. So I guess it's good to see some of these teams, because we would have never known about Scattaboo. All right, final thing on today's show. Can Vandy take over Tennessee? Diego Pavia basically went on Bussin' with the Boys, which is a Nashville, it's a show, like a podcast. They do a good job there. Cool show. Cool setup, too. They have their studio in a bus. But, I mean, he said that he thinks after this year, Vandy's going to take over the state of Tennessee. And he basically is like, look, we got Nashville. We got NIL money. They were working on the stadium last year. We were there. They're trying to improve the place. They beat Alabama. They beat Auburn. They didn't beat Tennessee, but they had a big lead against them. He feels like that Vanderbilt could finally take advantage of being in one of the most sought after cities in the South, maybe the best city in the South, according to a lot of people, and take advantage of it. Little bullish, or do you think that he's got something to be kind of excited about there?
Well, look, I mean, you can be in Nashville and you can have NIL money, but I mean, going to that stadium is pretty tough. That's not an environment that invites a lot of recruits. I mean, you want to play in college. To me, you want to play in the biggest environments possible. Vandy ain't there yet, and maybe they will one day. I think the timing's a little off for Diego. I do think they're going to grow and get better, but I mean, I doubt that coach is around very much longer. I don't see the environment being a place where you can really latch onto those top recruits. I mean, Tennessee is storied program. You look at Neyland Stadium. You look at the yacht parade, the city itself, Knoxville.
No, you're talking about the Vol Navy.
Yeah, that's right.
The yacht parade.
You like
Meet
that?
me at Calhoun's. Calhoun's on the river. Yeah, that's funny. I've had some good times down there. That 16-game winning streak, I enjoyed every one of those games.
Oh yeah.
It was fantastic.
But I see Vandy kind of being in a spot where they were this year. I mean, have a great year, get the right guys in place here and there, and they will have more NIL money. But long term, I don't see that being you're not going to overtake Tennessee in the state of Tennessee. I mean,
Tennessee's got a lot of money, and they've got some smart people.
I mean, look,
running their athletic department right now.
When people go to just for instance, when Alabama go to games in Knoxville, they're there for the game. When people go to games against Vandy, they're taking a vacation to Nashville, and the game just happens to be that weekend.
Mm-hmm. They're going to Live Oak to see the Bama tailgate show with Jake Coker.
That's right. That's right.
I still think our best show ever was in Nashville.
Yeah, and I do pull for Vandy. I mean, I enjoy seeing them, upset people and win. It's a fun school to watch. Or I say that it's a fun school to watch win when they can win. But really, I mean, the last time I remember watching Vandy in a high stakes game was prior to this year was when Jay Cutler was there.
Right.
And so I think they'll have a little bit more consistency because NIL is king for the most part now. But
right.
Again, you got to have that atmosphere, and I think there's something too in the SEC. A lot of these towns they're only towns that have nice infrastructure because of the college, and the college town is what makes the experience. So,
guys, I want
to. SEC is a little different in that aspect.
Sorry, Jake. As we wrap up, I want to tell you guys that we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort. And as our friend Steve Azar would say, don't have to be me till Monday. And it's a great place to escape over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. It is it's a great golf course when you love golf like Jake Coker does. The Azaleas, the Oaks, 2 multi-million-dollar golf courses, really fantastic. They're as good as or better than any golf course you're going to play. You're going to love it. You can stay in the clubhouse. Everybody that rents, their spot in the clubhouse, you open the window, there's the golf course. You get a key. You get a golf cart to drive around on the entire time you're there, not just for golfing. Going over to Silver Star, you want to play the slots. You want to do the table games. You want to eat at Philip M. Steakhouse, you just jump in the golf cart and go there down the trail. And then you can take the Skyway over to Golden Moon Casino, head in there, throw down some money at the Timeout Sports Lounge. Maybe you want to go to the water park. You can do that at Geyser Falls. You got the spa, everything you need. Even Jeff Dunham, who's got puppets, he's going to be there performing this summer. They always have great acts as well. So check it out, Pearl River Resort. Hey, thanks, Coker, and roll tide, everybody.
To Pearl River Resort.